Parliament House is a much valued facility and a symbol of India's vibrant democracy. It's a very important structure for India's democracy. However, if one wants to expand the seating in the two halls, if one wants to modernize the infrastructure, and if one wants to address the structural safety concerns, a new facility will have to be built to house the parliament. Once this is built, the present building can be appropriately retrofitted, and the two facilities, two buildings can be used in conjunction with each other so that the two together become the ensemble of the Parliament of India. So we started working on the design for the new facilities, and it seemed absolutely appropriate to house it right next to the present parliament in this triangular plot. Now, mind you, this plot next to it, we decided to put a triangular building there, and I'll come back to the site issues. Of course, the design has been evolving. You can see here the very first design was very, very simple, the first one here. And by now it has become it has slowly incorporated all the requirements. That's the 17th version, and I think there is a final one. The sections have also been evolving, and the elevations have also been evolving. You can see here various versions as we worked on it. And our office is full of models like this, where different trials have been done for what the building would look like. Now, if you look at this in the satellite image today, you can see here very clearly that that's the old parliament. This whole diamond-shaped plot is presently fenced in, and the entire diamond-shaped plot is used for the facilities of the parliament. On this side, of course, is the old circular building of the parliament. And on this side here, in this triangular plot, presently, you can see here, there is car parking, there are police barracks here, there are CRPF barracks, there is a structure for the reception facilities, there is infrastructure, air conditioning infrastructure, etc. There are some nice trees here, but by and large, this plot is an infrastructure and facilities related plot here. So what we decided was to reorganize this plot here, reorganize all the infrastructure, and put a triangular building in this plot that would house the new Lok Sabha and the new Rajya Sabha, etc. You can see here the two buildings. You can see one of them is, has a ground cover of 16,000 meters square. It has large courtyards in the middle. That's a round structure, you can see. And on this side is the new facility that is planned. It also has a courtyard, but a smaller one. And so it has about 3,000 meters square more of floor space on the ground. But otherwise, they're similarly sized structures. Here you can see a diagrammatic comparison of the two buildings, the old and the new. On the left-hand side, you can see the round building. It has a corridor on the outside. This is the ground floor. Then this gray colored ring is offices. So the offices are all around it. And here you can see the Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, the library, and in the middle is the central hall. And these are the three courtyards you can see. In the new facility here, you have something similar. You have offices ringing the outside. In this case, we have offices directly on the outside. Then we have the Lok Sabha here, the Rajya Sabha here. We have a courtyard around which we have a lounge and dining facility. In the center of the building, we have the sort of sanctum sanctorum here. It is the central space. I'll show you more about this. And we have various entrances. Let me take you a little further inside here. The triangular building has 6 entrances you can see here. On the 3 vertices, you have the ceremonial entrances and the VVIP entrances. On the sides here, you have the public entrance, and this one is for the speaker and the vice president. Here, I'm going to take you through more of this plan, but let me just quickly explain. You can see here that this is the Lok Sabha here. This is the Lok Sabha hall. This is the Rajya Sabha hall. This is the courtyard with the lounge all around it. There's a library here. This is what we are calling the Constitution Hall. And on this side, you have the ceremonial entrances and the committee rooms. And on this side, you have offices, offices, offices. This is the ground floor. This is the first floor. First floor obviously does in the halls. These are double height halls. So there's nothing more here except public seating and public access. Surrounding it, we have offices all around here. And we have dining halls here. You go further, this is the second floor. You can, sorry, this is, yeah, and this has the, sorry, I'm sorry, this is wrongly marked here. This is the lower ground. There's offices all around, and you can see the this space here is below the halls. That's the lower ground, sorry, and this one is terraces. I'm sorry, I made a mistake here. And that's the lower ground. It doesn't matter. What's important here is that the entire building has a rigorous underpinning geometry. Now, many of our iconic structures have rigorous geometries underpinning them. This is a standard feature of most sort of sacred buildings, of memorable iconic buildings. Temples have geometries underlying them, and it's transformations of that geometry that lead up to the final structure. The present parliament is based on a rigorous triangular grid of 3.65 meters. If you go a little bit closer, you will see that every line in this structure falls on that grid, giving it a certain rigor and order that is essential for this sort of an architecture. The aesthetic sources and references for this building are, of course, the old Parliament building. The old Parliament is a much valued structure. The two, we want them to work together. And so this becomes the big reference point for us. Its interiors, its finishes are what we are taking clues from to do the interiors for the new building. Besides this, all of the Central Vista's old buildings have magnificent flooring patterns, geometric inlays. All of these are things that we are learning from to make in the new building. The ceilings have this marvelous patterns on them. They're drawn and we're using those too. The textiles are rich. They are from the traditions, Indian traditions, and they are also what we are learning from. The jalis have intricate patterns that we are using also in the new building, and the elements in the old architecture like the the lampshades and various other features are also what are used in the new building. The seating layout in the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha was of much concern. We studied many different seating layouts across the world. For example, in United Kingdom, you have the famous opposing benches. In Belgium, you have a semicircle. In Cuba, you have a classroom type seating. We decided to continue with the horseshoe-shaped seating that we have in the present parliament, and our new one has the similar sort of a seating arrangement. If you look at the Lok Sabha hall, in the triangular building, this colored area is the area that is used for the Lok Sabha. If I come a little closer, you can see here that this is the Lok Sabha chamber. This is the seating arrangement there. This outside area is the lobby that is locked up when the Lok Sabha is functioning. These are lounges on the two sides because Lok Sabha, when the proceedings are going on, they spend many long hours here, and the members are in this area. Nobody else can come in here. This whole area at the back here are the various administrative offices of the Lok Sabha, with the Speaker's office and various other administrative offices needed for the functioning of this area. If one compares the present Lok Sabha chamber, which is in red here, you can see that the present Lok Sabha chamber is very small, and this new one is much larger because we have to fit in almost double the number of people that are there. Here's a comparison of the old Lok Sabha, present Lok Sabha chamber. Here you can see the yellow area here is 470 square meters, and the seating here takes up almost 1,300 square meters, partly because there are more people and partly because the seating in this area is much better than the seating arrangements are much better than the present ones. I'll explain how that is so. The lobby also is a pretty tight lobby here. There is a larger one. You can see the oranges in comparison. And the administrative offices are similarly sized, but better organized in the new building. The emergency evacuation facilities are also very poor in the present Lok Sabha chamber. There's a manhole in the middle, this red spot. We are going to have better arrangements that you can see here. The central hall, many people wonder why the Lok Sabha, expanded Lok Sabha cannot be held in the central hall. But if you compare the present central hall with the new Lok Sabha chamber, you can see that here too, the area is very small. It is practically being doubled in the new one. And the lobby also is small. And the central hall has absolutely no office space around it. And the offices are absolutely integral to the functioning of the Lok Sabha, because the speaker comes directly from the chamber and goes into the Lok Sabha chamber here. And all the officers have to be located right next to the chamber. The Lok Sabha chamber, for all the patterns, we are using in inspiration from our national bird, and it's something that we used in all the patterns here. So these are sketches from the textile that we are using, and the false ceiling that we are going to do for the hall, etc., are all inspired by the national bird, the peacock. And that's an image of the new hall you can see here. As you can see, that's the chair of the speaker and all the seating arrangements all around it. Here's another view head on, where you can see the speaker at one end and the chairs all around. And that's the view from the speaker's chair. Once again, you can see that the hall will have lots of natural light from these windows at the top. And so it will not be as dead to the outside as the present chamber is. Here you can also see on top the chairs that are there for the public galleries. On top you can see here, and below here you can see the entrances from where this one, for example, is from where the president would come in for the joint session. Those of you who are wondering why there is no joint session hall in the new facility, this hall, the Lok Sabha hall, has been designed such that at any given point of time, it will hold, for the largest seating capacity here is 876 seats, but the seats have been designed large enough so that these will hold actually 1,350 seats when joint sessions are held in this hall. So that will also be held here. That's the pathway leading up to the Lok Sabha chamber from the outside. That's the pathway leading in. I'm not going to take you on too detailed a tour. There is a whole presentation that deals only with the Parliament House, but that's not the issue here. That's the lounge in the lobby next to Lok Sabha. And that's the speaker's chamber, as you can see here, and so forth. The Rajya Sabha is a similarly shaped hall here. You can see the orange colored area is the Rajya Sabha. That's the Rajya Sabha hall. Similar to the other one, you have the seating in the middle. That's the chamber itself. That's the lobby outside. That's the Honorable Chairman, the Vice President's chambers and offices here on this side. And for comparison, the present Rajya Sabha looks of this size, and what we have is of this size. Here, once again, is a comparison of the two. The present Rajya Sabha is this small hall. The new one is of this size. So size is much larger, and the arrangements are more spacious. This one is based on our national flower, the lotus. And here we have patterns that we have used for that in the false ceiling, etc. And this is an image of the Rajya Sabha chamber, similar but different from this. The colors, if you're wondering, red and green are the traditional colors, and we have continued with those. Everybody wants to continue with those. That's the Rajya Sabha hall you can see here with its seating arrangements, and that's another view of the Rajya Sabha chamber, as you can see. That's the Honorable Chairman's office and various other arrangements. Once again, I'm not going through everything here. You can see that I told you that the seating arrangements in the Lok Sabha are actually pretty cramped today. There are benches of this sort. The members don't have a desk in front. do not have any place where they can place anything that they want to. They do not have modern equipment here, and they have to walk in front of other members if they want to get to their seat in the middle. So corner seats are prized, and it's a very, very cramped arrangement. Cozy, one might say, but also inadequate if you look at it from facilities point of view. The new seating that has been proposed has benches where only two people to a bench. This is the arrangement in many of our assemblies today and in the States. And in this case, if two people come on one bench, and as I told you, when there is a joint session, there'll be three people. These benches are large enough to hold three people. Similarly, for the Rajya Sabha, the seating arrangements have been improved much. Here are a couple of pictures of the sort of furniture that is being developed for the area. The technology, of course, will be highly upgraded. Present technology is antiquated. We will have extremely sophisticated technology with touchscreens on each of the desks and microphones that can be controlled, etc. The acoustics also will be very, very sophisticated. We have now ringing the entire building are offices on all sides. There are 120 offices. The lower ground and ground floor offices look like this. All offices have natural light and ventilation, which is not the case in today's offices in the present building. And this is a view of one of the offices that you have there. This is a view of one of the corridors that leads up to the different offices. Now, on the third vertex here, you have the central lounge and courtyard. So this is a view of the lounge that will be there for the MPs. And this is where the members all hang out. This is an extremely important space for the parliament because this is where all the informal meetings happen, all the discussions happen, and members of parliament get to bring their guests here and meet with them here. They're not allowed to take them into the main chamber at all. That's the courtyard in the middle of the building where we want to put the national tree, a large banyan tree. And you can see the lounge is arranged all around it here. And at the back here, you have the library. On top are dining facilities because many members spend whole days here, even going late into the night. So on the right-hand side, you can see the dining facilities on top, and that is what they will look like. Here is the library of the new parliament, and this is not really a full library. It's only a place for people to sit down during the day and work on their notes and on and while the sessions are going on. This has to be located right next to the hall because they have to rush in for voting whenever voting is announced. Now, I told you in the center of this building is the heart of it, the sanctum sanctorum here, the Garbhagriha if you want. It's called Constitution Hall. There are three parts to it. The first is these three approaches leading up to the center, which will have public galleries of this sort, which will have some displays for all the visitors, all the children, all the tourists, all the public members of public who come here. These will be galleries with exhibitions of material related to the parliament and the constitution. In the center is what we call the Constitution Hall. This is a memorable, evocative space right in the middle with lots of light coming in from top. It has sculptures of parliamentarians with light coming in on top, sculptures of parliamentarians, and this in a sense represents the cosmos, and this will have images of representing the diversity of India, and below is the level which has the level of governance as we call it. Here you can see another image of the central hall, and that's a view of the ceiling there with a natural light flooding in on top, and this is the image, one of the images that the people who come visiting here will carry with them. At one side of this is a very important space called the Constitution Gallery. This is the place where you can see here the Constitution Gallery on this side. And this is where the Constitution will be displayed. This is the Constitution of India displayed in a glass case. And you can see that is the Constitution Gallery where this document will be displayed. After all, this is the most important evocative space for our parliament, and this is meant to give people who come here something memorable that they carry with them as an image of the place. Of course, this has natural light flooding in from top and various other things. If you look at the sections and elevations, you can see that the two buildings have been made so that they are complementary to each other. They're not trying, I mean, this is, similarly sized. You can see in the sections here, this is the section of the old Parliament building. This is a section of the new Parliament. They're similarly, the heights are similar. Here are some sections from the new building. Here's another one running through the courtyard, you can see here. These were studies that we did for the elevation, and I'm just going to leave you with a couple of images of the final elevations that have been worked out here, as you can see. And these are the two buildings right next to each other. I've taken a lot of time in explaining the Parliament House because the design for that is most underway. The rest of the buildings I'm not going to spend so much time. They're also being developed. On the master plan, I come back to the master plan. So this is the old Parliament. Here is the new one. And right next to here, part of the master plan is a proposal for chambers for members of parliament. These are offices for all members of parliament, 1,000 offices in the plots, which presently have some ministry buildings which are to be located inside these central secretariat buildings later on. I don't have much more to add about the chambers of parliament for members of parliament just now.